But Mike, you do have a great love for songwriting, as we've talked about already in the show, and I feel like one of the biggest, I don't want to say validations, but kind of one of the biggest things you can receive as a songwriter is kind of notable or notoriety from an awards perspective. And your songwriting through the Captains and Cowboys album got a Grammy nomination.
Yeah, for the first round Grammy nomination.
Yeah,
Yes.
so I gotta, man. First of all, congratulations on that. That's
Well,
just
thank you very much.
what a huge moment. I need to hear from your perspective when you find that out. Somebody tells you for the first time, Mike, you got nominated for a Grammy. What's that like? What's that moment like for somebody like you who spent so much time pouring your soul into the paper?
It's pretty unbelievable.
Yeah,
You know, it's pretty humbling. You know, you're doing your day to day work to get around, and it's almost, yeah, it's just sort of unbelievable that you go, me. There are so many good writers. There are so many good people out there, and and you just go, wow, this is this is very cool. I didn't expect this to happen.
yeah.
So
I
yeah, pretty amazing.
I don't imagine there's too many bigger moments than that, other than perhaps just hearing somebody sing along while you're on stage, right? I mean, just something simple like that.
Yeah, there's that. We have a lot of people sing with us, but I'll tell you one other little story. I'm all about, not trying to write the pop tune. Some of them are poppier than others, but that's not. And if that happens, that's great. Um, and hint, if anybody's listening, if you're a gigantic star and you want to buy one of my songs, call me up. But this particular night, um, I, I had written a song. Um, I guess, about my father. It was a story about that, and it was a story about not my dad. My mother had passed. She had a long, good life. It wasn't a sad story, but we were worried about my dad. We were worried about how he was going to take it. They were together a long, long time. And it's a ballad. I played the song, and I wondered, should I play this live or not? It's pretty slow. How's this going? But I played the song, and at the end of the night, this gentleman came up to me, and he's in tears. Comes up, gives me a hug, and says, "It's been 6 months since my wife passed, and nobody else has understood it.
Yeah,
Till I heard your song, nobody else got it." Now I got to say, that's a big award.
absolutely.
There's Grammys, there's all that, but when you touch somebody's heart, that's a big deal for me.
And that's something I say a lot on the show. A lot. If you've been paying attention to what I do, you never ever know who's listening. You just never know. You don't
Yeah,
know
that's the truth.
you don't know who you're touching. I stream live a lot, video gaming and reviews and some podcasting, but I'm live a lot. I'm in front of a camera a lot, and one of the games we play is a dinosaur game called Ark, and we do some shenanigans on this game. But one night, a friend of mine who was a combat veteran texted me, and he said, Boston, he doesn't want you to know, but last night you guys were just hanging out, playing the game, and laughing and doing whatever you do on the stream, and my buddy was gonna commit suicide, and he came into your stream, and because you guys were laughing and having a good time, he decided not to do it last night. So because of you, he's still here today. And
Yep.
so that was 4 years ago, and that guy is still living and breathing. And so that's humbling. So I know what you mean, Mike. It really is truly humbling. And I try to tell people all the time, whether it's through social media or through cameras or microphones, you don't know who's watching, you don't know who's paying attention. And by God, we all have that power to change one person's life, right?
Yeah, you do. Same thing. We get asked, "Oh, isn't it tough being a musician?" When you're an indie musician, it doesn't necessarily pay the best all the time. I get asked that type of thing, and I tell people, you don't understand what a good payday can be.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be dollars to be a good
Yeah,
payday.
7 years of streaming live, that was by far the best donation I ever got. That's for damn sure. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
So what is your songwriting process? Go ahead, Amy. I'm sorry.
No, it was just I don't know if you want another story, but he's got another one that I thought he was gonna tell about a song called One More Night that I don't know
Yeah,
if you want another one or not.
absolutely. I would love to hear it, please.
I think this
All
is a
right.
pretty cool one.
All right. So, you know, our life is around boats and music, music and boats. Okay, so we have been also marine surveyors. Inspect boats before somebody buys it. So I get a call. I get a call out of the blue, and saying, "Is this Mike Aiken?" Yes, it is. Um, I am, female sergeant, somebody, Afghanistan. Okay. Um, I've near where you are. I'm looking at this boat. Could you come and look at it with me?
Getting out of the Marines.
Okay, getting out of the Marines. Could you come and look at it with me? Look at it for me. Sure. So I meet this woman, and she, in the course of the day of going over this, at one point she goes, "You know that song of yours, One More Night?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, I was at a point where I didn't think I could last any longer. I didn't think I was going to make it. I played that song One More Night every night of my stint in Afghanistan to get me through."
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
And again, you go, man, I just what you were saying. I had no idea I was reaching somebody. So I take songwriting pretty seriously.
Yeah, as well you should, because again, just all these stories, you don't know who's listening. So let's talk about your songwriting process, because this works a lot of different ways for creative people. Some people are just a conduit and it exists just, I don't know, it's ridiculous to me as a listener that somebody can just pull something from the air and, 30 minutes later it's a song. Some people are lyrically first, some people are melodically first. What's the process like for you, Mike?
It's really a blend. Different songs come at you different ways. There are some where I'll be working up a melody. I'll have something that I just really like and think this can be something, and you're trying to work into it. There are other times where you just start, that lyric and that melody starts happening. I've done a lot of songwriting seminars for people, and especially for younger folks. And I say, you see anything that is intriguing to you, take a picture of it. If it's a street sign, if like you were saying, if it's the guy in a thing, and look back and see if that inspires you to do something. So I do that type of thing, and sometimes if I'm just stuck in a little part of a song, I might dig in and do that. I'm a fan of collaborating with other songwriters. That can be helpful. But it isn't just one thing. A short story, a song I wrote co-wrote with a friend of mine, Tim Buppert, called "Summertime Song." So in Nashville, if you're doing the co-writing scene, pretty much they are 3-hour segments. You set up a 3-hour time. That's what you write. And if nothing's happening at the end of that time, probably that's not the day. It's not going to happen. So "Summertime Song," we were together for probably 2.5 hours of the 3 hours, sitting around this guy's house, and early day of spring, and really we both didn't want to be focused on songwriting. We wanted to go out and play on Percy Priest Lake in Tennessee, really. And so he had a little dog, and Griswold's like snapping at the windowsill. I can't figure it out. I go, "Tim, what's Griswold doing?" He goes, "There's flies on the windowsill." And I said, "And there's sweat on my beer." Those two lines, two different people, in 20 minutes, we had a good song. Wow. I mean, that one came, that was one of those. There's like, and a "Summertime Song," it turned into just a fun, really, we didn't want to be in there writing. We wanted to be out playing on the lake, and that turned into that type of song. There are others where the one in particular I was talking about with my dad before, I started writing that with a Texas writer, Austin Cunningham, and we sort of ran out of time, and we were both on the road for a year. And our goal to start was to do an old style country song, sort of crying your beer. We got back together a year later, and we both had been through stuff. One was my mom dying, and Austin had been through some stuff. And when we came back to the song, it got much, much more real. It turned into such a better song from what we lived in that year. But that song took a year to write. You know,
Yeah.
if you look at it from that perspective.
It's funny how many songs take shape after the songwriter has put the pen down for the day. I've heard that story so many times. Like, I give up, and then you see just the hook comes out of midair, whether it's the flies
Yep.
on the window or the sweat on the beer. That hook just, oh, you're not paying attention now, Mike. Well, here's your hook, right?
Yeah, exactly.